global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. Apparently Wike is one person that can and has the energy to take up any fight on every front, and the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, is not left out in the latest one. And it's best you understand how it all began. Don't forget that all of this began and started when the FCT minister, his administration, threatened to seal properties, including foreign embassies, for unpaid ground rent. And it took a different tone when Falana waded into the case. It's best to hear the standpoint of Femi Falana on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the international treaties. Then, of course, you hear what Wike, via his media aid, fired against Falana. At this rate, I would say the presidency needs to wade into this matter before it lands Nigerians and Nigeria as a country into some level of trouble. But let's listen to what the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has got to say on this matter. We'll come back for the repeater and reply made by Wike via his aid.
Or execution. No court of law can order that execution be levied on any embassy. And Nigeria is part of the international community. If we embark on invading the embassy of any country, it's going to lead to serious diplomatic problems for Nigeria. So it is not allowed. Nobody, in fact, if a policeman is pursuing anybody for committing any offense whatsoever, and the person is able to scale the fence of an embassy, the police officer cannot invade the embassy, whatever offense that might have been committed. So it is tried that embassies, missions covered by the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations cannot be invaded because they have not paid what you call rents, grand rents, which again are not applicable to.
Now, according to, you've heard what Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, said. According to Larry Olayinka, who accused Falana of deliberately ignoring key legal provisions in a bid to court public sympathy, he suggested that you should go and look for new clients. My goodness. Let me quote him word for word. He said, Boda Femi Falana must be looking for new clients now. He knows the provision of Section 28, subsection A and B of the Land Use Act, but he will pretend not to know, just as he was on some TV stations a few hours ago, saying 3 lawmakers in the House of Assembly of 32 members can pass budget. Section 28, subsection A and B of the Land Use Act provides that the government may revoke a statutory right of occupancy on the ground of A, breach of any of the provisions which a certificate of occupancy is by Section 10 deemed to contain, and B, a breach of any term contained in the certificate of occupancy. Olayinka's statement aimed at countering Falana's position that diplomatic missions are protected under Article 22 of the Vienna Convention, and that due legal process, including recourse to the Urban and Regional Planning Tribunal, must precede any revocation or sealing of properties, including those owned by embassies. Falana has emphasized that while FCTA must have the authority or may have the authority to revoke land titles for breach of terms, it must follow due process, including giving defaulters a right to a fair hearing under Section 36 of the Nigerian Constitution. However, Olayinka's rebuttal leans on the Land Use Act, specifically Section 28, which empowers the government to revoke land rights for breaches of occupancy terms, a power that may support Wike's crackdown on long-standing ground rent defaulters. Okay, but now see what Larry Olayinka is saying, probably with the authority of the FCT minister, is saying, and look at the image they are portraying out there. Tomorrow they'll be saying that they're traveling, junketing the whole world, looking for foreign investors. It is like this, the foreign investors will come. When they discover that you can wake up one morning and revoke their land, and all of a sudden, all their investment, all their buildings, their fixed assets they are put into the country just lie to waste. Now they will not be at your mercy. There seems to be no law protecting them as well, based on the fact that Lere is saying that this section is quoting supersede as super and is super is above all other sections and above other laws, which give the government the empowerment to do whatever they want to do. And tell me which government or tell me which foreign investor will come in knowing fully well that his investment is at your mercy and not that he's going to get fair hearing and want to put all his investment in a country where he's not sure of fair hearing. Come on, let's be real. Our image where we are portraying is very important too for us to attract the foreign investors we're looking at for. My colleague is in the house. What's your take on where the standpoint of Falana is coming from and the standpoint of Wike via his media person, Lere Olayinka, on this issue of ground rent and revoking lands of embassies in Nigeria?
Falana should not trade words with Lere. Lere doesn't know anything about law. So needless of trying to trade words and all of that. Whether you like it or not, there are exemptions to some law. And apart from anything, what Falana said is true. And apart from it being true, just like it has been said, Nigerians are trying to build stronger diplomatic relations with some countries. I can assure you that on a good day, if Nigeria wants to go after ground rent and all of that, and some countries want to handle us, we can't contend them in terms of what they have done for Nigeria. We are owing debts everywhere. We are begging for consideration, left, right, center. And then on the grounds of ground rent, we now decide to, strip them of their embassy. Do you know what that means? I mean, sanity should be restored here. Do you know what that means? For you to go and sweep, and then you're going to Section Land Use Act, Section 28, which that's all what you know. The other provision in the Constitution that creates room for diplomatic relations, you've not even studied that one. You think that law is being studied that way. So for me, I feel that Falana shouldn't even listen to him. You've said what you say. The government, you're not talking to Lere, you're talking to the government of the Federal Republic. You're not even talking to Wike. You're addressing the president. He should understand that whatever that happens, if there is any form of a breakdown in a relationship between Nigeria, diplomatic relationship between Nigeria and some countries, there are a lot of things we will suffer afterwards. So it's for you to keep quiet and wait for the presidency to respond. That's just my position on this.
All right, that's very interesting. That's to tell you that this one is not local politics. So if you play local politics, I think it is Inyendeba, and you spoil diplomatic relationship. All of us we enter it, and I hope the presidency is listening to learned minds. That's what we're going to wrap it up. Let's meet in our conversation. What's your take? Have a nice